Chris Coons of Delaware. Let's unpack this. Thank you, Senator, for being here.
Thank you.
So let's go through this. Donald Trump expected, per Yumi Shalcindor, to talk about economics. That's the thing he cares about. He cares about his reelect more than anything else. And his concern seems to be the way that the coronavirus is sort of spreading throughout the United States is damaging the economy. That seems to be his top goal. Does that align with the top goal of Democrats? Because it seems to me the health of the American people should be somewhere, in the top two of the things you care about.
Well, that's right. I'm a lot less concerned about falling values in the stock market and Wall Street than I am about the day-to-day concerns of working families who have to deal with the possibility that their kids' schools are going to close, that they'll be required to stay home from work and miss a paycheck, and the rapidly spreading concerns about whether folks can get tested, whether those tests will be free, whether they can get access to quality, affordable health care in this crisis, and whether or not their family checkbook is going to balance if they have to stay home from work. So we should be focusing whatever economic incentives we come up with this week on exactly what is going to slow the spread of this virus throughout our country and help those families who are most impacted. So that's why I support the proposals that there are press accounts will be coming out from Speaker Pelosi tomorrow that would provide for paid sick leave, that would provide for better and lower cost access to things like testing and health care, and that might provide things like food assistance at home for children who would otherwise be getting their main meal of the day through school lunch. I'm also concerned about support for our first responders and volunteer firefighters because remember, when we've got people who are going to be transporting folks to and from hospitals and nursing homes, that'll most likely be local first responders who need to have enough protective equipment and enough support so that they don't get infected and infect their entire fire company and then put an entire community at risk.
Yeah, indeed. Donald Trump wants a payroll tax cut. That doesn't seem to be something that is even seen as a good idea by his own party. Here are a few Republicans responding to that idea.
The payroll tax stimulus is something I got to think about because it does take money away from Social Security.
I haven't seen it in writing. I have some real concerns there. It seems like it's hundreds of billions of dollars of immediate spending that we don't really know the economic issues that are here.
We'll perhaps vet some of those ideas and see what we can come up with.
Are you in favor of a payroll tax cut, sir?
I would have to be persuaded. I'm not at the moment in support of it. It strikes me as something that would spread a very small amount of money very broadly throughout our country without it being a targeted assistance to the people who are going to be most in need as this virus continues to spread and continues its impact. So the short answer is no.
Yeah. What about this idea? And I don't really understand how it relates to coronavirus, but it appears that Donald Trump would like to pursue federal aid to shale oil companies, shale companies hit by the oil shock and the coronavirus downturn.
Right.
What does that have to do with what people are suffering right now?
It doesn't have anything to do with it at all. The drop in global oil prices because of a competition between Russia and Saudi Arabia over production is going to hit oil and gas production companies. But, frankly, if you look at the priorities here of our two parties, it's pretty stark. Republicans want to offer tax cuts and bailouts to fossil fuel companies. Democrats want to provide support to families who are struggling to meet their paychecks and to meet their families' needs, and to make sure that we've got some help to small business and some help to those who are going to be forced to stay home from work as they get infected in the weeks and months ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the people who are going to lose jobs and lose opportunities are like waitresses and people who work in small restaurants. Right. But it appears that Donald Trump's focus, as the leader of your Senate leader has said, are banks, shale oil companies, rich folks who are all lining up at the tiller. The thing that struck me, and I think a lot of people, was this hotels idea. That Donald Trump, let's just put up a list of the hotels that he has something to do with, whether he owns them or leases them out. And those are all over the world, all over the country, but all over the world. But these are just the ones in the United States. Will the United States Senate, will at least Democrats in the Senate, prevent Donald Trump from allowing a bailout of his own industry that he still takes a financial stake in and that he has not walked away from a financial stake in out of this crisis?
That question is just a striking reminder that we continue to have a president who runs his family business, whose immediate family members are part of his administration, and who continues to benefit from that global network of hotels and condominiums and commercial developments. I think you can count on us in the Senate, in the Democratic caucus, to block any benefit that would directly enrich the president and his network of hotels. We do have to find a way to come together quickly here and deliver some relief to the impacted families and individuals in our country. One of the things, Joy, that I found encouraging was that from start to finish, it took us less than 2 weeks for the Republicans and Democrats in the Senate and the House to take up and pass and send to the president, who signed an $8.3 billion package to make vaccines available more quickly, to make tests available more quickly, to provide for personal protective gear, and to support state and local governments. We can come together around a responsible package. We won't come together around a bailout for oil companies or President Trump's personal interests in hotels.
Well, we certainly hope that your colleagues on the other side of the aisle, who've been very amenable to doing whatever Donald Trump wants, will stand with you on that. I think the American people do not want to see any bailouts to Trump Industries. That's just me talking. I'm not putting that on you. Senator Chris Coons, thank you very much. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And up next, Bernie Sanders.